Hey guys, it's John here again. This is going to be my part 2 to my response to Metal Mickey. And if you watched the last video, part 1, you'll know exactly what I'm on about. This is albums that I loved back then and I still love now, or vice versa. If I hate them, or actually no, I'm not going to show the ones I hate. I'm just going to say I loved them back then, and if I don't really, not into them so much now, then I will say. But we're on to 1990, and I'm trying to get up to 2000. I think I might end up stopping at 1995, I think. So I've done 1986 to 19, this is not 89 in the last video. So right, 1990, here we go. Right, I think I've got the right pile. Yes, I have. Right, an album that I listened to back then and I still love today. And then I've got a few albums that I got into slightly later, but I still love them today. And they are albums I wish I had knew about back then. But because I was into my Def Leppard in Europe so much back then, I didn't really give them a chance. So this album is one that I played a hell of a lot in the back of my mum and dad's car with my earphones, even on holiday. The first time I heard it was when we went to see some friends in Bedford, or friends of my, yeah, they were friends actually, yeah. They weren't the mafia, they were friends, yeah. No, yeah, so this album, sorry about the cover of the case, but it needs to be changed. And this album was a huge part of my early 90s, and it is Scorpions' Crazy World. And if you've never heard this before, go out and check it out on YouTube. And if you're into hard rock, this is a hell of a hard rockin' album, and my favourite of the 90s for sure. When you listen to stuff, Tease Me, Please Me, Don't Believe Her, To Be Real Heaven, Wind of Change is obviously the well-known track. Restless Nights, Lost All Love, Kicks After Six, Hit Between the Eyes, Money and Fame, Crazy World, and Send Me an Angel is the other light single that they release. That is an amazing album, and they deserved to have huge success with that album. That was just amazing. And you know, when that came out, I was listening to Still My Europe and Def Leppard and Skid Row and a bit of Wasp. So yeah, immensely amazing that, and I still love it today. Right, next one. Let's have a look what we got here. Right, these are albums that I didn't get into until later on. And 1990, this amazing album came out, Warrant Cherry Pie. This I probably didn't have or owned this album until about 1995, and this is just killer. Well, 96, it might be 96, but this is just absolutely amazing album all the way through. I love it. And yeah, Janie Lane's amazing. Actually, I struggled to get this album. I actually owned their other stuff before I owned this, so, but that is killer. Next one would have been, oh yeah, right, Megadeth's Rust in Peace. Now this is just amazing thrash, their best album ever. And yes, I had this album in about 1992, the 92 or 93 I bought this. I first bought it then, but yeah, that's an album I wish I had discovered back. Yeah, it was 92, because I bought Countdown to Extinction, yes. Because Countdown to Extinction was the first Megadeth album I ever owned, because I got into Symphony of Destruction song. It was just the first video I saw. I was like, I've got to have that album. That was amazing. So yeah, this was absolutely awesome. Still one of my favourite albums of now for that year. Next one. What should we do with it? Yep. And another amazing album. Queensryche, Empire. This is not as good as this isn't as good as Operation Mindcrime, but it is still close behind. If I was to give Operation Mindcrime a 10 out of 10, this would be definitely a 9 or probably 8.5. This is just absolutely killer as well. And that was the first Queensryche record I ever owned. Yeah, absolutely amazing. So yeah, right, let's put that down there. And I still love that today. Next one, we're gonna go with this. And this is an album that, yeah, I didn't get into. I didn't listen to. I listened to songs on one of their compilations, and I was just blown away. And I remember my mate saying to me in 1990 or 91 sort of time, he said, "Have you ever heard this band, John? Judas Priest?" And I was like, "No." He said, "Listen to the song Painkiller." And I was like, okay. So I listened to it and I was like, what the hell was that? That was, nah, not into that. God, wasn't I not clued up. And then when I later bought the album, when I after I owned Metalworks, is it Metalworks? The 73 to 93 compilation, and I was just like blown away. And I've even sat down with my guitar, right? And I was sitting there one day, my electric guitar, and I'd never even heard this out. I know, I'd never heard the other songs. And I'm sitting down and I'm going, right? And I'm playing this little riff and I'm thinking, that sounds really cool. I go out and buy this, and this song comes on, and it's a song called Between the Hammer and the Anvil, and the riff in that was the same riff that I was playing on my guitar, and I'd never even heard the song before. Now, how spooky is that? And yeah, and I played it back to the song, and I thought, oh my god, I played that exactly to that, and I'd never even knew what the song was. And that was just like one of the spookiest moments I've ever had when I had my guitar, when I've been playing it. So, and yeah, that was quite a weird experience. Maybe I was Glenn Tipton in a previous life. Unfortunately, I can't play like him, so yes. Or KK Downing? Nah, I can't play like him either. Right, so this is a great album. I still love it today. It's got a couple of songs on here that are a bit not the best, but this is still an awesome album. and I think Battle Hymn and Leather Rebel are the ones that I get a bit peed off with, but yeah, that is still killer. Yes, Painkiller. Killer by name, painkiller by nature. Right, and then another band that I got into mid-90s, just after my mate died. He committed suicide, and yeah, we'll talk about that after. And I got into Pantera, and I knew he loved Pantera, and I listened to Cemetery Gates, and I knew that was one of his favourite songs, and I was just like blown away. And this came out in 1990 as well, and through the end of this was just a huge album to me from when I first listened to it right up until sort of now, and I can listen to that, never get bored of it. And I don't know what people don't like about this so much, but I love it from start to finish. I never ever get bored of that album, and it is my favourite Pantera album. So that's 1990 over and done with. So where was I in 1991? What was I doing? I was not 14. 1991, I was 15. Yeah, 1991 was a good year, especially for music that I was getting into. This is the year I discovered Ozzy Osbourne, and I was just like, hell fucking yeah. That was just amazing. So yeah, 1991, here we go. And let's just stick that down there a minute. Oh, 1991 was a good year. Right, 1991 was an amazing year for me, because not only did I knew that was an amazing album coming out. And you know what, right? Yeah, that's somewhere else. Have I actually got 1992 here? Oh, that's over there. No, 1991 was an amazing year because I knew this album was coming out. And when it came out, I nearly pissed my pants. And when I saw the video to this song, I'll Cry For You, right, obviously the closest I ever got to this band was listening to their music. I'd never been to any concerts. I've never been to a concert in my life for a big, huge band or anything. And this band, when this came out, this was just like, this is all I wanted to know. Europe's Prisoners in Paradise. And I love the cover. I played this to death. This thing got played in my personal cassette player over and over again, until I broke the cassette and I had to go and get another one. But yeah, this was just immensely huge in my life, and even today, I think the only song in here that I don't really like listening to is a song called Halfway to Heaven. What else? But the rest of it is just killer. I love it. I love this album to bits. There was a time in the mid to late 90s where I didn't really listen to it. I got a bit fed up. I played it that many times, and now I went back to it in the 2000s, and I was just like, it was just amazing, just absolutely amazing. It was just absolutely killer for me, and this helped me with a lot of, obviously I never knew that I suffered back then with depression and stuff, things like that, and my music has helped me through a lot of hard times. And obviously I suffered with depression and anxiety due to my ASD, autism, which I didn't find out until I was 36 I had. But yeah, that was a huge part of my life. And then this just blew my mind. When I saw the video for No More Tears on one of the TV programmes, one of the nighttime rock metal TV programmes in the UK that we had back when this came out, and I saw No More Tears video by Ozzy Osbourne, I was like, wow. And look, this was a huge part of my of being a 15-year-old kid, playing this in my grandpa's car when he used to take me out in the car a lot, because I couldn't ever play this sort of stuff with if I was around with my dad or my mum. My mum appreciated my Def Leppard and my Europe and my Whitesnake, but I couldn't play this around her. This was completely different kettle of fish. So yeah, music did play a huge part in my life of pissing off my dad, because he was such an abusive father towards me when I was a kid, and even till before I moved out of my mum and dad's house when I was about 16, I think it was, and even from the age of 10 years old, 10 years old, the holidays came from school and that was it, I was at my grand's. But yeah, this was, my grandpa used to let me play this in his car, and it got to the point where he even said to me, John, you sure you haven't got any more music? So yeah, I'd go back to the Europe and the Def Leppard, and yeah, until he said to me, have you got something else we can listen to? After I played it for like hours and hours on end. So but yeah, this was my introduction to Ozzy Osbourne, and boy didn't that ride, with listening to Ozzy's music and Black Sabbath. That was just, I used to go to sleep with my earphones in, with Black Sabbath and Ozzy blasting till I fell asleep, and I'd wake up with flat batteries in my my cassette player, my personal cassette player, that is, because yes, boys and girls, we used to have batteries back then to power stuff like that, not plug it into the wall and charge it up. So unless you were rich, you had a well, your family were quite well off and you could afford to buy a battery charger. Yes. So right, 1991, and we're on to albums that I love from 1991 that I got into years later. And obviously I heard these when I was at school, or heard of them, and these are huge in my, well, not huge in my life, but they are albums that I still love to this day. And to think that they brought these two albums out in the same year, yes, it could have been made into one longer album, but I think there's like bloody 30 songs here. So Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 were a huge part of not just me hearing them at that time. I didn't ever go out and buy the albums. It was my friends at school were into these big time, and I wasn't really hugely into Guns N' Roses then. So yeah, huge albums from 1991. A band that obviously I was into, but didn't get the album until a bit later on. Skid Row, Slave to the Grind. Obviously I saw the videos for this and thought, oh my god, this is a lot heavier than what I was into with the first album. And this is just this is one of my favourite albums, well, definitely my favourite album from that time, 1991. That and the ones I'm about to show you as well, with the Ozzy and the Europe. Unruly Child, amazing album that I didn't discover until the late 2000s. With obviously Mark III on vocals, who is now Marcy III. But yeah, I pulled that one out the wrong one. So this is 92 album. Why have I mixed that up? I have no idea. Sorry, that shouldn't be there. That's in 92. So that's got to go. Here we go. We're back. Normal. Oh God. I don't know why that was put there. So. Here we go. Obviously, you know that I'm into an Offs and Off. This was a huge album in 91 for me, but I didn't get to hear it until 93. So Donny V had a huge impact on my music that I love. Just an amazing songwriter, amazing. I just love the stuff, all their stuff they've done. So yeah, still love that today. Killer album. Great White's Hooked. This is my copy. It's the one where she's in the water and not out the water. I used to have the one on cassette where she was out the water, which was apparently changed. I don't think it was actually banned, but it was changed. But the one out the water is quite pleasing on the eye. This is a killer album, and obviously I wasn't into Great White until what was it? Yeah, it would have been the early 90s, but not as early as this. Another huge album that came out then, which I also heard a lot of my friends say, have you heard this song Enter Sandman? I really wasn't into it, but now I appreciate this album and I love this album. This is one of my favourite Metallica albums, and I know a lot of people don't like this, but I tell you what, it's a damn sight better than anything else they've done after. So yeah, the Black Album, Metallica. Right, normal. Where is my 92 stuff? Is that 92? That's 93. It is 92. Yes. Right, so we're going to get back to 92 now. We're going to get back to Unruly Child. So yeah, that is a cracking album. I wasn't into it. I didn't even know the band back then, but yeah, that's one of my 92s. And I still love it to this day. The one that got me, that I saw an article about this big in one of the magazines, picture of Joe Elliott in 90, would have been 92, early 92 I think. And it was mentioning about, it was just a little tiny bit in the magazine, and it was just saying that they were going to be releasing a new album. And I was like, other than just nearly pissing my pants, and he shit my pants, I was jumping around the room at the age of, what was I, 16? Jumping around the room at the age of 16 like I was 6 years old. And when this came out, I remember watching Let's Get Rocked on Top of the Pops, and I was like glued to the screen, and I was just like, yeah, I didn't think a great deal of the song, but it was just the fact that Def Leppard were back. Unfortunately, with no Steve Clark, because he had died the year earlier, which was very sad, but I went out and bought every single single of this. I bought it on cassette single, CD single, record single, whatever single version I could get. Everything to do with Def Leppard I was after, and it was Def Leppard's Adrenalize I'm talking about. And yeah, absolutely amazing. I love that. I still love it today, but I'm not into it as much as I was back then. But still really cool. Next one. Yes. An album I did get into back in '92. Thunder's Laughing on Judgment Day. I remember seeing the video for Low Life and High Places. I was actually trying to find a new artist that I thought, cool, I could actually get into them. And I was watching some chart show and the video for this came on and I was like, what a cool looking band. What a cool song, I really like it. I went out, I bought the album, I played it. This album is awesome all the way through. It's probably one of the longest albums I had at the time. So there was a lot of songs on it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 songs back then was quite a lot. And some of them are quite long. But this, I went out and bought the t-shirt when I saw it. And one of the first t-shirts I actually owned. And that's when I started buying my t-shirts. Unfortunately I haven't got it anymore. But yeah, 1992, people must listen to this and their first album. It's amazing. This is highly recommended and I still love it today. And I must stick it on again. Right. Oh, this is a lot of memories of when I was at college. Yes, I went to college. Only for a year, and it wasn't some posh college where people wear all these bloody blazers and stupid things on, you know, that's most people think of college as. I did a shitty business course that was so bloody boring. This got me through it a bit. I hated every lesson of it. I did it full time, and it was a college that you could just turn up in whatever you wanted to wear. I used to turn up in Def Leppard, Let's Get Rocked t-shirt, and any other t-shirt I had. Ozzy stuff, you know, Black Sabbath, I think. But yeah, Bon Jovi's Keep the Faith. Still have a picture of me wearing a long sleeve Keep the Faith, I think it was, t-shirt with Bon Jovi written all the way down the arm in white. It was a black t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt, and still got that picture. I'm not going to show anybody it because yeah, it was when I was starting to grow my hair long and it looked a right shabby mess. So this was amazing. I love this to bits. And there was a girl that was in the lesson that I thought, and she loved Bon Jovi, and I was trying to impress her because she was as hot as fuck, and I was like, oh my god. I think I concentrated on her more than the lesson. I think that's why I didn't really pass it very well. But yeah, she loved Bon Jovi and she loved this album. But like you, Mike, yeah, I was trying to impress this girl by listening to the music. I did like Bon Jovi anyway, so. But yeah, this was. I still love this album today. It's far better than anything else they've done since. So. Right, some albums that came out in that time that I love today. Didn't get into them until a bit later on, and these are killer records. Wasp, The Crimson Idol, and yes, I used to walk around with that t-shirt on. No, not that t-shirt, sorry. Where's it gone? No, that's not the t-shirt. This is the reissue, so that's what the new t-shirt looks like. Mine just had the cross, and it had Jonathan written in blood on it, and it had the grave, obviously. So that's not the original cover. I mean the original t-shirt. So, but yeah, amazing. It was the song "The Idol" that got me into Wasp, again. When I heard that, I went back to the Headless Children cassette that I used to have, and Wasp. I was heavily into Wasp from then on. So, Black Sabbath's Dehumanizer. I love this album to bits, right? Dio's on vocals, obviously. I remember seeing the song TV Crimes was one of the singles. Time Machine, I think, might have been one of them. I can't remember. But Time Machine was on one of the compilations from a movie. And I love the song Computer Guard. But yeah, Too Late and the song I. Just amazing. This album is just absolutely awesome. Love that to bits. That not many people mention that album, Dehumanizer, but it is fucking killer. Sorry about the swearing. I should never say killer. So yeah, that one's there. And another album that I got into in '92 because I heard their song Machine Gun. A video. This was before I saw the video for Cherry Pie, obviously previous, but this was one of the first Warrant albums I ever owned, and Machine Gun was on Dog Eat Dog, and to be quite honest, right, this is far better than the first album. It's actually technically better than Cherry Pie album, but I love Cherry Pie for the funness of it. And this is an amazing album as well. This is the last amazing Warrant album. Obviously one came out after this, which was called Ultraphobic, which I do have, and you'll see it soon. So, but yeah, killer. So what I'm going to do is stop the video there, because it's going to run out of I think 32 minutes. My God, and I've only done 2 years. Oh my God, we're going to have to do a part 3. So cheers for watching, keep rocking, and see you soon.